Alright, so I think it's time we talk about something that's been in the elephant in the room for quite a while now when it comes to Overwatch, and that is the fact that honestly, man, we have too many DPSs in the game. I don't know, maybe I'm speaking too fast, but I honestly, like, realistically speaking, the number of DPSs we have compared to supports or tanks in the game is actually more or less kind of ridiculous at this point. On top of that, with Overwatch 2, or at least the beta, closed beta coming up, not the open beta, the closed beta is coming up. I highly recommend that you guys go ahead and opt into the closed beta as soon as possible because people are still receiving invites. So if you have not been invited yet, or if you have not opted in, please go ahead and do that. You don't know if you could be accepted into the closed beta. So if you guys want some possible access to Overwatch 2 a little bit early, go ahead and sign up. It's super quick. It takes less than a minute. Just go do it. But yeah, no, the closed beta is coming up, and as you guys know, we're going to have access to Sojourn, which is the latest DPS within the game, within the Overwatch universe. And as happy as I am to receive a new character, because we have not received a new hero in God knows how long, he just happens to be another DPS. And you know, I feel like at this point we should be really focusing on at least upping the ante when it comes to viable tanks, especially since one tank hero is being taken away now that we're going to 5v5 instead of 6v6. So if you guys don't know, we're actually going to have 2 DPSs, 1 tank, and 2 supports or healers. Blizzard is trying to counteract this, adjustment by obviously making maps a little bit more viable for tanks in terms of more coverage and things along those lines, and they will be continuously updating the maps or adjusting them throughout competitive play. After they receive more feedback, they're able to see the stats, see all the little details in terms of deciding where to add coverage, where to take away coverage, just how to move maps around. But I feel like supports and tanks have more or less kind of really been underserved. Yes, we have not seen all the reworks for the tanks, nor have we seen all the reworks for the healers or supports, but I still feel like I feel like tanks and supports should be definitely a little bit more up on the ladder in terms of importance for the future of Overwatch, because I feel like they've definitely been a little bit underserved. Maybe it's the fact that I feel like tanks and supports have not been as interesting as some DPS, and that's caused a lot of queue times to be a little bit higher, or a lot higher, when it comes to DPS queue times. And it's not even DPS players' faults, it's literally the fact that it's like for every 1 tank or every 1 support, we have like 3 or 4 DPS, or more. Well, that's probably an exaggeration. More like for every 1 tank or every 1 support, we probably have about 2 DPSs, sometimes more, depending on the roster right now. I also feel like supports should be able to handle themselves a little bit better. I mean, they're pretty consistent for the most part. You have supports that can really obviously output some damage, like Anna, Lucio, Mercy. I feel like could use some slight adjustments in terms of how much damage she can shoot from her pistol, but I do feel like supports need to have a little bit more agency into the game. We have heroes like Baptiste who obviously do have that, but I still feel very strongly that tanks and supports have been hugely underserved in Overwatch so far. And this is something I really want to see Blizzard talk about. I want to see them answer the questions. I want to see them come forward with talking about how tanks and healers are going to change. I mean, we've seen the leaks for Orisa, and they're actually really great changes. They're showing that they're bringing more agency to tanks, but I want to see a little bit more, because honestly, still at this point in time with Overwatch, moving into Overwatch 2, DPSs hold the crown in terms of just overall coverage, and yes, they are the poster childs of Overwatch, but still it feels like tanks need to just be a little bit more interesting. I mean, and like I said, Orisa rework looks great, but I feel like also supports can be a little bit more interesting too. It's not strange enough. I feel like that supports need to be able to output a little bit more damage consistently. You just can't have these few supports that are a little bit more consistent than others in terms of damage. and still being able to cover as much healing as a lot of other supports as well. I mean, we do have some hybrids in the mix, obviously, like Brigitte, which is a more or less between a tank and a healer, and I want to see more of that. I want to see a little bit more supports. I want to see some more tanks, because I feel like DPS has just consumed Overwatch so much up to this point that we have, all right, just to cut it straight, we have so many DPSs. We have too many DPSs. It's a smorgasbord of DPSs, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't get new DPSs. I think DPSs obviously are a huge part of Overwatch 2, and moving forward, we're going to have 2 DPSs, 1 tank, 2 supports. But I'm saying that DPSs have more or less been served overall way more consistently than any other role in the game. And this is, I guess, this is my thought of balancing with Overwatch 2 when it comes to how we handle the releases of heroes, whether they be tanks, supports, or DPS. There has to be a little bit more of a balance when it comes to these releases. It's nice to see a actual cycle between, like, let's say Blizzard actually releasing a DPS, then a tank, and then a support, and then a DPS again, and then a tank, and then a support. It's nothing wrong with going in the normal cycle that it would be expected of new hero releases, I think, personally. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just how I feel personally. I don't know how you guys feel. I do love Overwatch so much. I feel like it's such a great game. But certain aspects of it, like the amount of catering that DPS does get, I feel like can kind of be over exaggerated and overcompensated for other supports or tanks that should be also able to do not the same amount of damage, but something just slightly similar. And Blizzard's, like I said, I give Blizzard credit. They've done a semi-decent job of that, but we still see the fact that, like, I think for every 2 or 3 DPSs, then we get 1 new support or 1 new tank, and maybe that's even like over exaggerating on my part, because that may not even be the case. It might be worse than that. But anyway, I love the team over there at Blizzard. They do a great job of balancing like Overwatch in some sense, but still, I feel like let's start to switch things up a little bit more moving into Overwatch 2 in terms of how we handle tanks and healers, and make the game a lot more interesting. But like I said, we have not seen all the reworks. I do give them that. We have not seen all the reworks, and so I will probably make an update video to this one once we get a better idea of the positions for every hero within the Overwatch 2 roster. Anyway, guys, if you are interested in brand new Overwatch 2 news, updates, all that great stuff, please subscribe to the channel. I try to post consistently. I've been balancing work with moving to New York and all that stuff, so it's been a little bit of an adjustment. But either way, for all the new updates and stuff, just subscribe to the channel. I will do my best to keep you guys updated as much as possible. I want to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing and getting us almost to 1,000 subscribers. That is crazy, guys. 1,000 subs. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're almost there. We're at 900 right now. Thank you so much. Anyway, guys, my name is Blackout. And as always, guys, until next time, take care. Tell me that's all in my mind.